Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
Folks, welcome back to another episode of The Fallen Badge. Our episode today, the murder of Detective Robert Wallis, Denver Police Department, Colorado. Detective Wallis was 52 years old. Now, he'd been with Denver Police Department for 20 years. Now, he had a wife, he had a daughter, 2 sons, he had a sister, and he had a 5-day-old granddaughter. Now, that is a shame. I ain't gonna remember what granddaddy looked like. Now, the suspect had pretty well failed at everything he'd done, I guess, other than being a violent felon. He was a Marine deserter. He had a long criminal record. That was including escape, robbery, forgery, kidnapping, where he held a 13-year-old boy for ransom. Now, the little boy escaped, reunited with his folks later on. Now, in July 1987, our suspect, he escaped from a prison down in the great state of Texas, the Ferguson unit there in Midway, Texas. He hot-wired a truck and drove it through a prison fence. Now, he had been living under an assumed name in a rental house in a little mountain community there in Bailey, Colorado, which is southwest of Denver. Now, some news reports said he'd been living a quiet life until he decided to rob a bank here in Denver. Now, according to the FBI, they disagreed with the news media. They said they thought that the suspect had robbed 4 other banks in the Denver metro area between January and February of this same year. It's February 9th, 1988. It's about 11:20 a.m. and our suspect, he enters the Rio Grande Operating Credit Union. They got that office there in the north part of the city. Now, he went in there armed with a pistol, and he got about $3,000 from the teller. Now, he put that money in a suitcase, and he bebopped out of the credit union, and he had him a old brown Chevrolet K5 Blazer, and he took off down the street. Now, the bank, they called 911. I don't know if they had a hold-up alarm in the place or not. You know, most banks, they will not hit that hold-up alarm until the robber's gotten outside the business. Either way, the Denver police has been notified that they've got him a bank robber. Now, it didn't take the police just too long to track him down, so they got to chasing the suspect. Now, you might guess, being a prison escapee and a violent felon who just committed another violent felony, he didn't stop. He was traveling at speeds between 60 and 80 miles per hour, running vehicles off the road and blowing through intersections, several near misses with civilian vehicles. And he almost hit a couple of police vehicles. Now, it just so happens that a news station, they had a helicopter up. They were doing a report about highway construction. Now, they heard about the bank robbery and this chase, so they went over there in the area and they started filming from the sky. And this was one of the earlier police chases ever recorded. So now the helicopter's in on the chase, and they are filming this suspect vehicle and the police efforts to stop him. Well, now the suspect, he gets northbound over there on Tennyson Street. Now, he gets up there around West 48th Avenue in Tennyson, and there's an unmarked cruiser coming at him, and they're attempting to block part of the street. Now, one of the 2 detectives in that vehicle is Detective Wallis. Now, I guess they decided they didn't want to stay in the car, so they got out and were heading towards the sidewalk. Now, Detective Wallis, he didn't make it. Suspect vehicle hit Detective Wallis while he's trying to get away from the unmarked police cruiser. Police later estimated that Detective Wallis's body went airborne for 130 feet from the point of impact. Detective Wallis was dead instantly. Now, the police that were chasing the suspect, of course, now they stopped for the officer down. So they lost track of the suspect. But now the helicopter, this news media helicopter, they stayed on him. Now they were having problems communicating directly with Denver PD, so they were calling the station, and the station was calling the police. But as you might guess, now that gives you a delay of several minutes. So now our suspect, his luck finally runs out. He loses control of his Blazer there at an intersection. He crashes into a tree. Well, now his truck's disabled. So he gets out and he's running on foot with his suitcase and his pistol. Now he runs through some yards, and he's actually run out of the city limits of Denver. He's now in Adams County, even though I don't think that's going to save him from Denver Police Department. So he gets to an apartment complex and he tries to carjack a vehicle. Well, now, lady in the car, she's in there with her 14-month-old son. Well, she sees this fella's got a gun, so she takes off. And our suspect cranks off around at the vehicle. Now, it hit the vehicle, but it didn't hit the woman or her little baby. Thank goodness. So now our suspect, he runs into a trailer park there, and the helicopter's right on top of him. Well, now he confronts a fella that's sitting out by his truck. He's out there with his granddaughter in the driveway. Suspect comes up, puts the gun in the granddaddy's face and tells him, "Get in the truck, you're going to drive me out of here." So this elderly fella, 73 years old, he does what he's told, so he's driving out of there, and the suspect in the passenger seat. Now, this is an old Chevrolet pickup truck. Now, the elderly fella, he ain't driving too fast, and the suspect, he's hiding down below the dashboard, thinking that's going to get him by the police. Which at one point, they did pass a police car. The police car at the time didn't know the suspect was in that truck. Now, the helicopter's still right over top of this green pickup truck. And they're getting information to the police best they can, but they're having all kinds of trouble. Now, finally, this green pickup truck, it's going through a shopping mall. And the helicopter pilot, he's decided he's seen all he's going to see, because he saw Detective Wallis die as a result of this suspect. And he's just thinking, man, we got to stop this. So he drops his helicopter down about 3 feet off the ground, and it forces the pickup truck to stop. Now, the suspect's in there hollering at the elderly fella to ram the helicopter. Obviously, that wouldn't have been a good idea. And the elderly fella, I guess he figured that ain't a good way to go out. Crash into a helicopter and kill everybody. So finally, the police start arriving in the shopping mall there. And the first police car, he comes up and he rams the right front of the pickup truck and immobilizes it. So now the suspect ain't going to get out by that vehicle. He's going to have to go by foot. So now other police officers arrive on the scene and they block in the truck. Helicopter lands nearby, and the reporter that's inside with the camera, he gets out and he runs over there to where the police are. Now they got the truck surrounded, And the suspect, he grabs the victim in the truck 3 different times, puts him in a headlock, holding a gun on him. Police are telling him to drop the gun, give up, and he won't do it. He keeps looking around at the police. Now, every time he'd look around at the police, though, his gun would drop away from the victim's head. Well, after he did that about 3 times, Denver police decided it was time. So several of them cranked off rounds. Now, luckily, none of the rounds hit the victim, but the suspect was shot multiple times. And the suspect was DOA on the scene. Now, the police department really appreciative of the helicopter pilot for staying with it and for helping them to catch this bad guy. Obviously, there was a lot of flack for the helicopter pilot for doing what he did, but I think he did a good job. Detective Robert W. Wallis. End of watch, February 9th, 1988.